Testing 1, 2. Hello, everybody. Let's get a quick sound check here. Make sure everything's good. Think the music level's off a bit. Okay, let's see how that works. Oop, I think I blasted. Sorry if I blasted you there. Checking the levels and I had it too loud. Turn my mic down a tad. Music up a bit. Okay, I think that's a better balance. If you get any chatties in here, they can let me know a little better what's going on, but yeah. Sorry, it's a little bumpy there sometimes getting started. So, alrighty. Let's get the show on the road. So, a couple weeks ago, found about this place that's not very far away actually, but just had never heard of it. I've driven past it, even taken the train by it a few times. So I've taken the Ace train up to Pleasanton and back a few times. It's basically the southernmost, it's like southeasternmost part of the bay, right between Milpitas and Alviso, more on Alviso side, I think. And so it's not a great looking area. It's kind of a partly industrial complex and the homes right by there, but they're a couple blocks away. But it's a protected area, which is nice. And so what makes it very interesting is this reddish color. And there's some of these across the bay over in Newark, across the Dumbarton Bridge over to Newark on the way to the East Bay, like Oakland and Berkeley and stuff like that. I'll give you a quick shot of what the area looks like. Just some real basic pictures here. there. There you go. So make the picture a little bit bigger to start. And essentially what you have is this very reddish water. This picture doesn't quite do it justice. It's a little deeper here, but you can see some light colors out in the middle of the little channel here. And those are giant chunks of salt that are out of solution, very much like the salt all around the edges. So the edges is a mixture of, like mud, clay, sandy stuff, and salt. But as you walk along this side that I was on, closest to the bottom of the frame, it's basically like a salt beach. It's very crunchy, very lots of crystalline bits in there. Some areas more crusted than others. So there's a shore that's made of dirt and mud, whatever. But it's so much salt has accumulated over the years with rising tide, lowering tide, um, and this formation's been around. I mean, at least hundreds, if not thousands, of years, because Native Americans lived around here. Will come in here and collect salt, and it was a great bargaining chip for goods throughout the tribal areas. So some had, shells and furs and hand woven stuff and other kinds of food items. But, salt has always been very important, not just for curing meat and other things to preserve them for a long time, but also add some flavor to your food. It gets very boring. So even Native Americans understood that. They didn't have like strong spices and things like that they had maybe in Asia and like the Middle East and then Southeast Asia, India, places like that. But they definitely wanted salt for various functions, and so this place is just crazy amounts of salt. And what's fun is, like I said, you see all this salt here that's in solution, making the water somewhat cloudy, but plenty of salt that's making these like little salt bergs, I was calling them, submerged or not submerged, and salt encrusted all over the place. So check this out. I got a few more pictures that are pretty wild. I didn't include that many, but just a few, just to give you an idea. So slightly off angle, sorry about that. But anyway, it looks like snow, right? There's so much encrusted snow, looking salt everywhere, that if I showed you this picture and didn't tell you where it was, you go, oh, you went to some, snowy place or something. Or somewhere maybe like the Great Salt Lake, but the reddish water kind of throws you off a little bit because it's not like that in the Great Salt Lake. I've been there. So it makes a very interesting kind of almost alien landscape. And then one more shot shows people in relation to the area. Let me shrink this a little bit so I can use my pointer. So you got some people here, you got some chunks here. So these big, again, I'm calling them saltbergs, for lack of a better term, all over the place. Right by the shore, there's a section I didn't shoot way off the side here to the right. It was just a giant line of these saltbergs going from this part of the bay to the other edge of the bay. So it's probably a few miles away here. And so it's so encrusted out there, you can actually walk out here. You can't walk right here because there's water, but there are a few areas where there's a connection. It's basically salt bridges, and you can walk out here. And there are actually some areas where birds have landed and have little protected areas where you can't quite walk there. So there's like breeding birds out here, birds hanging out for whatever purpose. So it's a good place for birding. It's a good place for just some interesting photographs. And this the color in the water is very interesting. Well, much like the reddish water across the bay, I knew there was some cool critters in here. Some kind of red algae of some kind, microscopic algae, and who knows what else. So I took some samples, put them in the fridge. It's been much longer than I expected. I just forgot about them in the fridge. So luckily I found these pictures on my phone so I could bring this up and talk about it. Let me zoom in a little bit so you can see the color a little bit better there. Oops. Those are my other pictures for later. Hold on a second. I hate when it does this. No, no, no. This Irfan view can be a pain in the butt sometimes. Exit. And I forgot how to get out of this setting. So here, that's the page number, that's the sizing. Oh boy, that's not fun. Let's try exit multi-page. There's an exit, but there's not a quit. And Control Q doesn't work. Alt Q doesn't work. Let's try Alt F4. That's kind of a universal quit. There we go. Alt F4 got me out of trouble. So, like I said, look at the red color there. Let me zoom in here. Again, not the best pictures. It kind of looks a little more pinkish here. So depending on the depth of the water, the light, stuff like that, you get different views of it. Over here, it's just very, very dark because it's much deeper. But the whole area is pretty much reddish water from the algae. So let me turn the pictures off. And so one of the samples is right here. So let's switch to this other view so I can see, and also I'm not seeing the chat right now. Hey Rob, what's up? Yeah, it's water on Mars with some snowy looking stuff, but it's just salt. And while I'm thinking about the salt real quick, let me just swap the camera to the dissecting scope so you can see the chunk of salt I actually collected, which luckily did not, because salt is hygroscopic, it collects water out of the air. But luckily it's such a concentrated bit of salt that it didn't phase the salt chunk here. Boy, it's much bigger than I thought it was going to be on this dissecting scope. Turn that up a little bit. Let's turn the backlight to give you some translucency there. Turn that down a little bit, let the translucency take over. So you can see this big, see it's all shiny as I change the angle. Salt crystals grew in these little layers. Because usually table salt, if you look at it, I showed on previous streams, it's little cubes basically, like nice little cubes. But this actually crystallized in these nice little sheets. Almost like mica, these shiny little layers of salt. So it's just kind of this beautiful little formation. I haven't seen one like this before. A little closer there and focus on this guy. You can see the shiny bits there. And because it's not very thick, it's also translucent enough so I can shine light through it. Turn the backlight off. Put more forward light on it. And you can see this little piece I picked up right along the edge that was not in the water. I have pieces floating in the water where I got these samples from. So again, the water's much higher salt content than the surrounding bay. Yet these creatures, I'll show you here in a second, are able to do pretty damn well in that salty water. It's pretty amazing. So let's go. So you can see some different colors there. There's some kind of reddish and some yellowish colors. Hard to tell if they're clusters or single cells, but you see some movement there. Some things are actually moving on their own. So let me zoom in a little bit. And I already did a sneak peek just so I knew what I was looking at. And there's some little various algae, flagellated algae. Find a good one that's moving nicely. Here's one that's wiggling a bit. I'm going to try zooming digitally a little bit first before I change the objective. So you got some nice little wiggle there. And now I'll go in another level. These are pretty small actually, so I'm going to go another level. There you go. Now if I get the light levels just right, you'll see the flagellum. Might have to defocus it a tad. So actually got a couple of flagella, at least. I'm seeing several hairs batting about on different sides. So yeah, I'm not sure what species this is. Definitely have to look this one up, but it's pretty cool. It's definitely got some structure to it. It's not just a ball. I mean, it's almost like a little bit like a dinoflagellate, but it doesn't quite have the waist that I'm used to seeing. And usually they're a little bit bigger than this. So let me do a little more digital zoom to cheat. Because I don't want to put oil lens on yet. This is ours. So pretty high power already. It's about 400 power right now. The trick is to get it to get some detail without getting too crazy. I didn't mention it before, but this is more music by JX3D. If you guys haven't already checked it out, look him up on Bandcamp. Just like it sounds, JX3D. Got several albums out there. He's a good friend. We do podcasts together and other kinds of stuff. And I didn't really have any ambient stuff to put in here. There's another little guy moving next to it. So I thought I'd use his music. It fits really well with these exploratory streams. I don't know if you guys can see the flagella well enough. They're a little bit wispy. Gotta get the right mixture of contrast here. So this oblique lighting works a little bit. Give it a little more of a pop. Look carefully on the edges, you'll see little wispy things batting around. Those are the flagella. There's someone in the foreground too. Something smaller. Look, it's just moving through diffusion though. But these guys are actually moving on their own steam. Move this window because I'm blocking my chat. Cannot see my chat. Hey Gary, what's up? Yeah, I've seen Hemococcus before, so it could be those. The ones I see usually have, they're more perfectly spherical. These are kind of oblong, and a lot of the Hemococcus ones I see also have this kind of gelatinous kind of shell around them, but that could be some kind of a different form of it. Maybe, yeah, I don't know about their life cycle, so I'm not sure, but could be. Yeah, it's a good call. I found some of these in my bird bath before. It's some of the best times I've seen these guys, if it's the same species or same genus at least. But um, this was found in really salty water. If you watch the beginning of the stream again, I shared pictures of this extreme salt section of the bay where the Native Americans used to collect salt, and it looks like snow all around the place. Just insane collection of snow, salt looking like snow, big clumps, and even some submerged chunks that just the water's too saturated to take in any more salt. So even underwater, there's still salt. Oh, a whole bunch of them here together. Here we go. I think they were all cold. Now they're starting to heat up under the lamp. They were all pretty motionless when I first got them in here because they're in the fridge for a while. But that was a nice spherical one. So yeah, some are spherical and some are oblong. It's interesting. All right, see you, Rob. Thanks. Yeah, it was shocking how salty this stuff was. I mean, I even, you know, typical biologist thing, I had to taste it, right? And it was really like nasty, salty, super strong um, water. Um, but if you look just before I switched back to the compound scope, on dissecting scope, I had a chunk of the salt I grabbed from the edge where it wasn't wet, had it dried out, and it's just beautiful, like deposited layers um, of salt. Unlike you get table salt as little cubes, but this is nice flat depositions of salt, almost like the way mica has these layers that as you rotate it under the light, you'll see these little plates, shiny plates at different angles. Now it's getting too dark over here. Let's crank this puppy up. Put too much water on the slide too, so everything's bouncing. So these guys aren't moving. We get some of the variation here. That one's got some stuff sticking out of it. Maybe it actually lysed partially. So a lot of these are not moving. There you go. So there's like a weird oblong one next to some circular ones. So that one's nice. You can see the nucleus very well. Or maybe is that an oil drop or a nucleus? I don't know if these guys have an oil drop like diatoms have. Could be a vacuole of some kind. Give it some more light. It's too dark. Too dark, too dark. See if I can push the oblique a little bit. There you go. You can see the little spherical guy in the middle there. Whatever that structure is. But it does have some markings on the outside. And it is pivoting on the with the flagella. Just trying to get them in focus. They're very wispy. Quite long too. The flagella about as long as the cell is. Maybe a little bit longer. And it's a little early to go to oil, so I'm not going to do it yet, otherwise I would. Yeah, maybe I could. If I don't find anything else on this slide, I guess I I could do oil real quick because I'm dying to see what these guys are like up close. I don't think I did it when I found similar ones to this before. I don't think I did oil immersion. Just have to be careful because I already, being careless one stream, I pivoted into the non-oil lens with the oil because I was just in a hurry and ended up having to replace that objective, and it's never been the same since. I got to find the exact same objective to put in here. It's just more money to spend, of course. Come on. I'm out of oil? I had some oil left. Come on. There we go. I got a little bit of oil there. There we go. All right, fingers crossed. Let's see if I move my specimen or not. There we go. Boy, oh boy. Now it's a whole lot bigger. Okay, that one's not moving. I wanted one that was moving. Find one that's still moving. There we go. Still moving. Let's see if I can get this adjustment better. Definitely got some texture on it. Oh boy, I think I'm right on the edge of the cover glass. It's kind of popping around, which is not an ideal situation. Come on, man. There's a nice one. Very cool, and you can see the flagellum. Let's get this moved over here so I can see a little better. And I think I need to move this over more. Oh, Himalayan salt lamp, yeah, that's cool. Those tend to get kind of moist, don't they? Oh, the hygroscopic nature of it. Oops. Let's move you over here a little bit. See if I can get a little bit better contrast. So you can see there's some texture there. Not quite getting the flagellum the way I want to, though. You can kind of see a little bit there. A little bit wispy. Always helps to defocus it a tad. Yeah, so far this is all I found in the sample. It's definitely this stuff giving the water its color. funny because I'm not finding like a ton per drop. Like I thought this might be saturated with them, or whatever creature was causing this, or single cell plant. And just like so many other optical illusions, you have just enough for your eye to see the color, and it kind of fills in the blanks. But when you get close up to it, just like when you look at red blood cells under the microscope, they're not that pigmented. They're actually pretty faint. And collectively, through layers and layers and layers and layers of that, you get this bright red color. But individually, they're really not that colorful or that. There you go. There's some more flagella action. It's showing up on the camera. It's definitely showing up in the scope. Sometimes the camera is unforgiving. I'm I'm using the USB camera tonight. I was going to hook up my Nikon mirrorless camera, but I just was too lazy. So there's a nice flagella action. I hope you can see that. Yeah, there it is. It's spinning around. It's heading over about 3 o'clock, and now it's going back to midnight, and then back over to. So it has like a rear flagellum that's kind of popping around there. Pretty cool. So this one's one of the more golden ones. I looked at a bunch of the radish ones earlier, and there's some green ones in here too. For some reason, this thing just wants to go in circles the one way. Interesting. I was going to do some face contrast tonight, but again, I was being lazy. This would have been a good one for face contrast. And again, this is not my ideal objective I'm on right now, is it? No, this is my oil. That's right, I forgot. I'm on the oil lens. The one I had on before has some depth of field issues. It's not a complete match. It's supposed to be for the scope, but I think it's not a complete match, and you have to get another one. But this one, there you go. There's some nice flagellum at an angle up toward the lens. I don't know if you caught that or not. I should have used a better camera. I'll probably keep the sample a couple more days. Maybe I'll try with the better camera. So, just spinning around. Let's do a quick look around for anything else while I have the oil on. This one that's not moving. You can see the flagellum is there, but not moving. I do the up to the kind of upper left of the cell. Yeah, it's kind of there as a wispy little line, but you can see it sticking out. And it's just, if I focus in and out, it looks like it's waving, but it's stationary. But it is a flagellum just hanging out there, not moving. Like it's growing a hair or something. Oh, this guy's moving. There we go. Some kind of wiggle action. Nice thing is they don't move too much, so I can still track them pretty well without going nuts. Now they're kind of on top of each other. Different focal planes. There's a green one that's probably seen better days. Doesn't appear to be doing anything. What's this? Another one. Let's Check way over here. I haven't gone this far over yet. Uh-oh. Oh, I see what happened. Good thing these are spring-loaded. I actually pushed a little bit too hard and cracked the cover glass. But hey, I was still looking through it just fine, so. Crazy stuff. Let me change equipment here. Let's get another slide. Yeah, I was in a hurry to get that thing focused, and I went a little too far and it cracked. Good thing that oil lenses are spring tipped, so they don't damage the actual lens. Clean my oil off this guy. Okay. All clean. Time for another sample. So there wasn't much in that water. Looks like all the same stuff. So I will save that one and go into the zoo samples. This is the main reason I'm doing this tonight, because I got fresh samples yesterday. I didn't have time to do a show last night. So I wanted to get going while there's some good live critters in the samples. So I always have good stuff from the local zoo, my old stomping ground. When I used to work there. Worked there on weekends and some weekdays when I wasn't in school or wasn't working full time for 25 years. So longest job I've had by a long time. Okay, let's do a zoo sample now. Let's try simple. So this sample is from, get back to my little picture thingy here. These are not great pictures, but I just did some quick and dirty snaps from my live streams I did yesterday on another channel. And so the first sample is from a cichlid tank. Cichlids from Lake Malawi in Africa. And they have a special collection because these guys are very aggressive. There's a lot of variety, a lot of different interesting colors and behaviors, but some do not like each other. They predate on each other or just fight a lot. So you have to know which species you can put together if you want to keep them on display for any length of time. And these are successfully breeding there. They've already had many, many broods since the place was rebuilt during the pandemic. Because when I worked there, it was a very different place. They basically leveled it and started over. So the museum was from the late 30s, early 40s. Zoo was, that was the museum building part. The zoo was added in 68, finished in 69, I think. And then I worked there from 89 for 25 years. And then just before pandemic, they finally decided to upgrade it. Modern stuff and new kinds of exhibits and animals and such. And took them, I think, a good chunk of the pandemic. They started just before the pandemic, I think. And then, so it's been going strong for a couple of years now. And it's obviously a lot more expensive to run a place like that. It used to be free to come in. We had a lot of volunteers. I was paid staff, but we had a lot of volunteers there. But now, um, there's paid admission, so it's more like a proper zoo you would go visit in San Francisco or San Diego or something like that. Okay, so that's what you're going to look at from this tank. Last time I got water from it was not very exciting, but I wanted to try it again. So this is water from the cichlid tank. Let's see what we get. Got some plant fibers. Gonna put too much water in here, so there's some stuff floating outside the cover glass. More plant fibers. Bunch of little bits here on this thing. What is that? Let's back off on the digital zoom a tad. Okay. Interesting remnants of something there. Lots of little bits of stuff. Could be fish excrement, particles, it could be who knows what. But nothing moving. So little guys in there, real little guys. Tiny, tiny little flagellates darting around. It's a piece of something, but not quite sure what that is. See if we can find these little guys here. Very small. Best to see them in dark field, but I don't have a patched off of this magnification right now. Let's go back out. Again, I didn't expect to find much for some reason. I mean, the water's very clean there. It's a lot of running water. It's constantly filtered and stuff, so not going to find a lot except for whatever these little bits are. Like I said, Floating little bits of fish excrement or who knows what. But tons and tons of tiny little flagellates. I would need to be an oil immersion to see them well. I can see them in the background. They're very small. More of those little structures like that with stuff clinging to it. That's a cool little ring of bubbles there. This is like bio art here. Look at that. Or constellations. I could put this on my astronomy channel. Yeah. Nothing special. Alright, well, it was worth a shot. I always like to try it just to see one day I'll get something there, but so far no luck. Let's go to something more promising like this is from, let's see, where's that other one? I'm gonna go from basic to dramatic, from what I would guess anyway. This is, okay, cool. This is water running down the little waterfall from the tank. Actually, water's running down a little waterfall to the tank, and then a separate little waterfall runs down this little creek, kind of a fake creek down into the pond where the flamingos are and stuff. So this is a mixture of stuff from that runoff and then some scrapings. I had my friend do some scrapey behavior with the collection vial, so I could get some interesting bits that way. Okay, so the water itself might be interesting, but I also have some algae collection here. I think this is that one that's very net-like. I've shot it before. It's a very interesting structure. It's like a little microscopic fishing net algae. Forgot the name of it, but should at least have that to look at if there's nothing in the actual water that's that interesting. Okay. So what we got here. Come on, slide, don't do that. Okay. Perhaps this will be a little more fruitful. Let's go on a lower digital zoom here again so we can see what the hell we're up to. Lots of particles and strands and usual debris. Nice little collection of bubbles there. So more artistic stuff here. if you guys saw my little artistic nematode video. I clipped out a little video of it in a mixture of oblique and dark field, doing some really graceful movements, and I put some Debussy in the background, or Debussy, I don't know if you ever say it. And it's a fun little 2-minute video. Is that anything? Looks like a pile of junk. Oh, a little green thing there. What is that? Talk about standing out. Interesting. Just keep it dark field for now. Let's zoom in a tad. It's like more of that stuff I had in the other sample. So this one's real green. But it's not doing anything. Yeah, I have a makeshift centrifuge based on the clever idea from Micro Hunter, using a power drill and a little structure with little vials on there. You spin it around real quick and you get a kind of a half-assed centrifuge. But yeah, I did find some cheap centrifuges on Amazon, like 50, 60 bucks. So I've been thinking about that for getting more concentrated samples. But yeah, it's very colorful, but it's not doing anything. So I'm gonna change it to bright field real quick just to give a bit of contrast to the other view. Dark field is definitely more appealing. Or a little bit of oblique also makes it nice. All right, let's see what else we got here. Some crystals in there. Some more junk. Lots more junk. Tiny little flagellates bouncing around in the background. You can see that. Not in the mood to chase little guys tonight. It's like a very difficult video game. Well, wasn't expecting to find much here, but it's fine because I know one sample I have is going to be gangbusters, because it always is. One of the best slides I ever made was from a sample that was collected in the same one this last one is. And then I'm going to, there was a separate bit from this sample of some of the weedy algae stuff that was in there, quite heavy, that I'm going to put on a dissecting scope. But before I give up on this one, I want to extract some fragments of the algae that I can see floating in the water, because it's beautiful stuff. I've got two slides stuck together. That's not good. All right, so let's get a sample of that stuff. Use my forceps. It's very, very wispy. Pretty sure this is that same net stuff that I've collected before. Really beautiful under the scope. Okay, there's a piece of it there. Good old forceps. See how that looks. Yeah, of course I got water on top of the cover slip. That's messy. Looks interesting though. I get a nice 3D effect there. Alright, let's go. There's a piece of the net right there. There's a nice little capillary action going on there. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh, I see what I did. I put two cover glasses down. That was stupid. Oh, wait a minute. Where's the chunk? Where's my big chunk? There we go. Oh, okay. Looks like mostly, it's like a Silatoria and stuff. Or something very much like it. There we go. We got some ciliates. Nice. Looks like two little critters conjugating there. Have to go to higher power. Let's go to dark field as well. That helps a little bit. Oh, who's here? Who is that? Yeah, looks like the two conjugating there. It's a little constriction there. I think I'm zoomed in too much on the digital zoom. It's going to mess things up a bit. Interesting. Not seen this type conjugate before. I have video of PAJMZoo conjugating, but not this one. Looks almost like those little stylunkias. It's very active. You can see it's eating some green stuff inside there. dare not go too much higher because it's too much motion. What's that guy? Oh, there's a little green guy swimming. So that one's actually moving. The other one I found earlier was not moving. Now what's on top of that? Kind of decaying material there. Probing around, just needs more light. Yeah, not familiar with that one. Very active. Another one there too, bigger one. It's very active. It's got too much Z-axis to go, and I'm constantly focusing to try and keep up with it. What's this guy doing here? Is that a rotifer? I think we got a rotifer. Yep. It's tunneling through the debris there. It's actually inside the tube, it looks like. Funny rotifer. Yeah, it's just bouncing around inside of there. That's funny, I've never seen a rotifer inside of something like that. It's given the local like radiosity levels are basically giving him that color of that dead tissue. Very strange looking. Thanks, Gary, for coming by. Sorry if I missed you leaving. I should read the chat a little more often. I get stuck in this stuff and I lose track of time. It's so much fun. Having fun with this rotifer stuck inside this decaying plant material. It's almost like I can't find a way out. It's a rotifer prison cell. But yeah, a lot of this green stuff, very interesting. It's definitely not a Silatoria, but I'm not sure what it is. It's also got little buddings on it, things sticking off of it, which is new branches. There's a little branch off of the one. And then there's something else. Looks like a branch that didn't make it. Or maybe that's another thing, hitching a ride. Not totally sure. We got some other stuff in here like, I don't know if that's Anabina, that really segmented one. Very different structure. That's funny, this one kind of grows like a cactus with little branches sticking off of it. Little bulbous branches. Oh, there's another green guy. Boy, covers a lot of ground. Too much up and down focusing. Oh, here we go. we got here? It's like a Vorticella on its side. It's really wide. I've never seen it so wide before. Let's do a little digital zoom for that guy. This should be not too much. It's going to get too blurry. So yeah, another little Vorticella type guy. Bringing all kinds of particles. Oh, there's a neighbor next to it. There you go. On a nice long stalk. Look at that little stalk there. Let's see if it retracts, like they often do when they get disturbed. It's really cool. You can see the cilia beating a nice circular pattern there. Like a little chainsaw. Particles keep flying. Very cool. Love Vorticella. Just hang here for a bit. Have some fun with this guy. The guy's just going to town there. Do a quick sound check on my phone just to see how we're doing with the audio levels here. Seems like it's okay. I'll stay here a little bit longer. I like looking at these guys. It's like a little screensaver. It's relaxing. See what his little friend is up to over here. Got one down here that's kind of not on a stalk, it's more attached directly on the algae. It's kind of funny, this one never retracts. I guess I'm not getting disturbed. This one is retracting. You just saw him change at the bottom there. Let's open up again to do more filter feeding, and something disturbs it. Oh, I did it again. It's not a happy camper. Something's disturbing it. So there's some little flagellates there bumping into it, freaking it out. Because they filter feed on pretty small stuff. A lot of stuff they're eating we can't even really see without some crazy scope setup. Alright, let's go look for some other things. This is a wealth of, it's like an underwater forest. This is a wealth of stuff hiding here and there. More green guys. That one's spinning like crazy. How's that guy doing? I can actually zoom in now because it's staying in place and spinning. A few things bouncing around in here. He's spinning so fast, he's a damn blur. Good thing these things don't have any kind of equilibrium sensors or whatever. Spin a person like that, would be throwing up or just dizzy as hell. Can't get it to stop. I'm assuming it's like one of these guys here. This one's just taking a break. But it's moving so fast I can't get a clear shot of it. That's another reason that the Nikon camera is nice, because I can actually shoot on camera slow-mo and upload it later. It still won't be part of live stream because you have to shoot the video separately. But I can cut to this camera on another scope and put the Nikon camera on this type of object, shoot some special slow-mo video, and then and make a separate upload later. You can analyze these guys. It's pretty fun. Also do it with the iPhone too. I just iPhone bolted the eyepiece is my old-fashioned way of doing this stuff, and it actually worked very well. It's just a little bit wonky at times. So, but in a pinch, there's nothing wrong with that. Problem is, I like to keep my iPhone available for other things when I can, like messages and occasional apps I need to check, and also quick audio checks on the stream. What this guy's doing. Pretty crazy. Take a water break here. These guys make me thirsty. Oh, damn, now it's gone. Just when I take a drink, it's gone. Well, now I'm at this high power. Let's explore some of this stuff. See if you can see any cytoplasmic streaming in here with chloroplast moving around. Only some things can you really see that in, but you never know. I'm seeing some activity in the cells, but not chloroplast dancing around. But you take something like an Elodea leaf or something like that, a more complex plant, and get a nice close-up shot of it with a lot of light, and you can see cytoplasmic streaming. It's cool. You can focus all the different layers. Algae on top of algae on top of algae. You'll see the texture too. It's not just a smooth tube. It's almost like an art piece there too. Morphing into other layers. There's all those little green guys taking a break. I recognize that shape. Maybe it's dead. It's really dark on this shot. I need to give it more light. But it's that dark guy in the middle. That's like one of those things that was swimming around earlier. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, is this one of my favorites? Yeah, it's the one that acts like a beetle. Euplodes. I love Euplodes. Look at that little guy. The cilia are fused to form these bristly leg-like structures called cirri. C-I-R-R-I. And because of that, and the way they have a flat cell plan, almost like an insect body plan, they walk on things like insects, even though they're single cell. It's the craziest damn thing. Love these guys. You can see the cirri in the back and the front. Little bristles. They're very transparent, so right here it's kind of dominated by the green of the algae. But you can see it move around on the top. And they literally just walk on the surface. Instead of just swimming everywhere, which of course they can do as well, they like walking on things. It's a trip. Got two of them here? No, just one. But they're one of my favorites. Just so animated, so kind of whimsical the way they move around, and just the fact that they're imitating, or I should probably say insects are imitating them. These guys are probably a whole lot older than insects are, being single cell critters. But that behavior, it's outrageous. And if you didn't know what you're looking at, or what scale you're looking at. Because again, this is 400 power. Probably a little bit higher on my screen because I did a little digital zoom, I think. But, you know, these guys are not giant. They're pretty small. But the behavior is almost as complex as a little beetle walking around on stuff. It's hard to get a good clean angle because it's on all this green at different focal levels, so it's kind of a, you can make it out a little bit. I have much cleaner video on other streams, but this is one of my all-time favorites. It's just so much fun to watch. And the fact that they can have this niche where they're basically acting like an insect, crawling on stuff, even though they're one cell. So he's just walking that little channel between the plants, the algae. But they do move a lot all over, so you have to constantly focus to keep up with them. Is that another one? Swimmer, some kind of swimmer going through. Oh, some brown stuff there, some dyeing material. Let's go back to Euplotes. I love Euplotes. There it is. Now he's on a lighter color, it's easier to see. So much fun. Again, it's getting real cluttered here, so it's hard to get a good, clean shot, but you see how active they are. And they do this thing like insects will do. They'll move and pause and kind of check things out and move and pause. Whereas ciliates will sometimes just keep swimming, swim in a circle. It's almost like these guys are more structured in their behavior. Doesn't seem random. Too funny. Well, I could stay here all night with this guy, but I'm going to check out some more stuff on the slide. Interesting shapes there. As this stuff grows. Little diatom inside there. Right there. See if this rotifer is still inside this tissue. If I have the right piece. Might be a different piece. It's one of the brown stalks. Looks like onion, stained onion skin tissue. Oh, there's diatom. It's algae upon algae. It's a little diatom and a little touching one of the algae branches. Nice contrast. Yeah, digital zoom isn't always so good. So I can focus that better. It's going behind it, so it's getting blurry. Let me zoom out a tad. Alright, what else we got here? Some other... Oh, there's something else crawling down here. Another diatom poking around there. It's a diatom. Ooh, what we got here? Oh, it's just one of those branches of the algae. Those little branches are cute little things, like little, you know, like cactus buds. There you go, there's a nice shot of it right there. Little buds coming off the side of the algae branch. Ooh, got a critter here. It's a rotifer, what is that? It's not very big. It's not a... wonder what that is. It's definitely an animal. This is 400 power, so it kind of limits what it could be. It's not moving like a rotifer. And not quite sure what that is. I guess it could be a vorticella on its side. It's a very strange angle. I think it is a vorticella. Just a very weird shape, a weird angle. Very weird angle. See those little cilia pumping away. I didn't even get to the good stuff yet. This is still the... Just I found so much when I got that algae cluster out of the little stream sample. Sure what this guy's up to here, but yeah, it looks like it could be just a vorticella at a weird angle. It's got this They have this little kind of a crown where the ring of cilia pump in the food, and then they have this kind of a cell body here, and this is kind of a cup shape with this, wine glass structure where it's kind of thicker at the bottom, and there's usually a stalk that attaches them to something. Although they can attach directly, but you can see some movement inside there too. So yeah, it looks like it's just a vorticella on its side. That's a weird angle. And they're thick enough at 400 power, you have to focus quite a bit to see everything. Just doing their filter feeding. Now that stuff zigging and zagging like that, that might actually be some, oh there you go, now it got disturbed, so it retracted. And now it's slowly opening up again. It's protected inside that little structure. And it sticks out again and goes back to filter feeding. Just a ciliate that's essentially sessile, just attached to something. And I've seen them free swimming before. They have to get from place to place at some point, and they settle down and grow that little stalk. But this one's weird because it's, I don't know if it got smushed when I put it on the sample on the slide, but it's at a really weird angle. But still seems to be doing what it needs to do. You can see stuff moving around inside the cell. Some kind of vacuole there moving around inside the cell. Well, that amazing cell machinery, little factory, sending stuff from one place to another. Should have had some coffee or something. I'm starting to get tired. It's only midnight. It's not that late. Oh, it retracted again. And there's a little tiny flagella bouncing around outside there. Oh, got disturbed again. Keeps retracting. If you saw my stentor stream a while back, I got some stentors, these giant ciliates, kind of like a cone shape almost. They're actually naked eye. And you hold them out in a vial to the light, they're big enough to be seen naked eye. They're really big. And they, not the largest ciliate, but right up there. I'm trying to remember what the largest one is called, but anyway, I got some at the Maker Faire earlier this year. Or was it end of last year? Might have been end of last year. Yeah, because I think Maker Faire is in October. Time flies. Anyway, the guy's doing research there on animals learning, even single cell animals. And so this same recoil mechanism this Vorticella has is in a lot of these ciliates to protect themselves from harm. I mean, they don't have pain receptors like more advanced animals do, but they still have some basic survival mechanisms so they don't get damaged or eaten or whatever. Whether it's perceived as some sort of pain, probably not, but some kind of warning sensation, they recoil, which is why this guy keeps recoiling like that. And these guys at, I think it was UCSF or something like that was doing it. It wasn't Stanford. I forgot now, but they were studying stentors because they discovered that when you repeated a stimulus multiple times over a certain period of time, they stop responding because they realize it's just there's something in the environment that's, you know, they don't need to do that because even when you recoil to protect yourself, you're still vulnerable because you can't move. If you're kind of scrunched up, you're unable to move normally to avoid a situation. And at the same time, every time you do that, it wastes a lot of energy if it's not necessary. And nature's all about efficiency when it can. That's why, you know, flowers only produce a certain time of the year after a certain amount of triggers and seasonal changes and age of the plant, stuff like that. Same reason that, you know, an animal only produces so much toxin if it's a poisonous animal. And the same reason you have a reproductive period as in your own species that's only for a certain window, because reproductive material is very expensive. The cost analysis, the resources, and all that kind of stuff. So all these little things that are actually taken care of in the natural balance. And so one of those is Stentors decide, you know, basically figured out over time. There's just um, as they evolved to be able to like, hey, this is too much. I don't need to respond to this. This is kind of silly. So they're studying that mechanism and finding ways to disable it, enhance it, you know, do some other find where the genes are tied to that behavior, and really interesting stuff. So I got some free Stentor. Excuse me. It was very unprofessional, yawning on my stream, but man, I'm getting tired. Um, so I was able to get some nice specimens from him. Did a nice stream, maybe 2 streams with Stentors for a while, because they only last for so long and without the right food and the right setup. So it was just fun to be able to study them because I've always read about them, seen videos on them, but even in college, we were studying various things like this. We never had any to look at in the lab, and so to be able to look at them, as well as knowing some of their history and natural history and some of their behavior, is really fun. But that's what this guy's doing. He's doing this kind of threat response, recoiling. I'm going to zoom out a bit because it's a little fuzzy on the digital zoom, but it allowed me to quickly show some close-ups there. Let's go to some good stuff. I'd love to explore this slide some more because there's some really good stuff on here, but I'm going to jump to the special sample now, which always has goodies on it. This is the one from the pond where the flamingos and other birds live. And it has the filtration system they have there is very much like a swimming pool's filtration system with the kind of a skimmer basket and a pump system that sucks in the water and filters it through. So there's always some amazing stuff in the debris inside the skimmer basket. Just stuff living in there because they get flushed out once in a while, but it acts kind of like Gary was mentioning in the chat here. Guys like MicroAddict and stuff always recommend doing a centrifuge type action to help concentrate your sample so you're not making so many slides just to get a few critters. You concentrate your stuff to make it easier to see things, to find things. It's a very clever idea. You just don't want to do too much and damage your specimens. So, so I'd have a makeshift centrifuge made with a power drill and some little clamps and little vials, and you just spin around in there and you get a similar effect, just not as nice as a 10,000 RPM or more centrifuge. But the other problem too is you can, some things like I was saying are delicate. So if you pack them in too much too fast, too high of a speed, you end up getting a pellet, which is most of the reason they use a centrifuge is to concentrate a substance. But I want to look at live things. I don't want a pellet of live things because they're no longer alive then. They're squished. So you can run like partial speed or do some really a couple bursts or whatever just to kind of move stuff down to a smaller section of the vial, and then you can draw from there and you get a much better concentration of the sample. So very clever idea that I need to explore more. So I'm making less of these slides and hunting as much, just to, I guess, be a little more lazy, get more done in a short amount of time. Nothing wrong with that, I suppose. So here we go. Here's the, I'm going to do a quick shake, gentle shake, so mix stuff up a bit and see what I can find in this sample. Should be excellent, because it's almost always very good. Okay, let's see what we got here. Ah, cover glass. Be careful with these things. They often get stuck together. It's really annoying. Okay, that one's pretty good. All right, let's see what we got in this skimmer sample. It's not as colorful water as it usually is, so there should be still some good amount of things in here. So little guys, I'm seeing. Dark field is always great for looking for little things. Some contrast. That's diffusion. That's not swimming. There's a swimmer. Net. That's a small one. Let me look for a couple big things first, just in case we have any. Some nice algae. See if there's anything next to the algae. Interesting how it got water outside the thing, so it's got this weird kind of 3D shading effect on that. Let's get that dark field fixed a little bit better. Alright, what else we got here? Anything? Yeah, not much. This is where a centrifuge will come in handy for sure. It's a pretty sparse sample. There were a couple things out here I saw. Just one. Very fast moving flagellate. Let's see what I can glean from this guy. He's too fast. This will be too much power. Diffusion here. It was somewhere out here. Can't seem to find it now. So along this margin. Don't know where it went. There's only one of them. May have gone to another part of the slide. Alright, well, that one wasn't so great. Let's try another one. This time I'm not going to agitate the bottle. I'm just going to grab whatever came to the top, supposedly. It's not great every time, but fairly consistently it's been some of my best samples from that part of the pond. Like one slide I had it's like 15 species on it, including gastrotrix and Paranema and all kinds of stuff. It's really interesting. Dude, having that same slide had gastrotric and amoeba, a couple paramecia. Yeah, just a bunch of stuff on there. It was crazy. Alright, let's see what we got here. That is not the right. Okay, that's better. Okay. I got my CPU fan making all kinds of noise now. There we go. Yeah. Looks like some synthetic fiber, maybe. The pink, the flamingos are pink, but this looks like a synthetic fiber. Nice evenly dyed man-made fiber. Well, good thing that last collection of water with the algae was so nice, because this one's pretty boring this time. Nowhere near what his last couple times. Alright, so I'm gonna go. I'm getting tired, so I'm gonna do one more. And part of that is going to include inspecting this cluster of algae that was a much bigger chunk. Let's put it on a dissecting scope first, and then I will look at it under the compound scope. In case you have any bigger critters in the debris, might be very interesting. Hey, why is that not turning on? There we go. Okay, let's take a piece of this with the forceps and put it on this petri dish. This is a nice wet this down a little bit more so it spreads out better. It's very beautiful hair-like when it's suspended in liquid. Much more graceful looking. Then I can take some of that and put it on a slide. Let's give it a little backlight, make it a little more interesting. Turn this down. Kind of tease this stuff out a little bit. See some of this stuff suspended in there. This is way too low power to see many things in it actually swimming around if they are, because this is very, very low power. Just get bumped. There we go. That's what was wrong with that exposure there. Way too bright. Turn that down. Turn that down a little bit. Okay, that's much better. zoom in more. I don't see any stuff swimming in there. So now I'm going to make one more slide from that. Yeah. Okay. Let's tease out a little bit of this sample here. And a little bit of this liquid here. Trying to get some near the stuff. Let's see what we got. Maybe we get a little bit more good stuff in here. A little too much water on the slide, but it's okay because I have some bigger pieces of stuff to think about here. Big piece of algae. This will be the last slide tonight. I need to get some rest. Getting tired. Oh, that's interesting. Look at that. Zoom in on that. That's kind of cool. Yeah, really weird algae structure there. It's like little blocks with skinny connectors. Almost like a little plastic necklace. That's wild. Never seen that formation before. Very odd. And very distinct. Should be easy to look that one up. Very cool. Very, very cool. Let's keep looking around here. Lots of diatoms. Oh yeah, there's a kid. What I think it is. Looks like a gastrotrick. Yep, got a gastrotrick. I always find them in that filter. Just consistently find them in that filter. It's so great. Oh, sorry, I got overexposed there. Can I? Actually, I can try to dark field this. Get a little more punch. So yeah, diatoms. Some long threaded algae. There's one of those green dudes again swimming around. Spinning, spinning, spinning. Not seen them before. Interesting. Getting these weird. There we go. Should be more consistent with the lighting now. And got a few inconsistencies there. Okay. So it makes it a oblique and dark field here. It's a little too dark sometimes. Alright, let's go find that gastro trick. Those are cool. Where the hell was he? So back to normal bright field for a little bit. Old school view. There's a rotifer. Rotifer's kind of hugging the algae there. Now it's behind the algae. It's peeking out there. There you go. Sometimes they move along surfaces too, kind of like the, there's a nice view of the rotifer. They move along stuff sometimes, kind of like the Euplotes does. But these are bigger. They have very definite body shape. Euplotes is single cell, and rotifer is multi-cell. You can even see the body plan. They have segments. There's a definite tail and a flexible body section and like a head region. Where the little rotating mouth parts are to bring in the food. And you see how transparent they are. They're just right on top of that algae, and you can see the algae right through them. Often don't have a lot of color of their own, so that one has a little bit of yellowish tan color, kind of. Get a little bit closer because it's not that fast. Let's see if I can do that. Get a little more detail on this guy. So it's hugging the surface of the algae. Going along, you see that little mastax? That's a little thing that looks like it's pumping, almost like a little heart inside there. That's called the mastax. It's part of the kind of the pumping structure of the bringing food in there, and it has like this like little, it's like a little crushing mechanism, I believe, if I remember correctly. to allow them to bring the food in and smush it up for digestion. Almost like a bird's gizzard. But I need to read about that some more. I forgot. It may just be for pumping. I forgot. So don't quote me on that 100%. I'm not 100% on my rotifers lately. I need to get back and read about them again because they're really interesting animals. And they have different types too, with different body shapes, and some are longer and worm-like and really flexible. Some are more plate-like and bend at different sections. Like this one's kind of plate-like. Oh, there's that green guy coming through there too. That's cool. He's stuck in a little section there. That's a good shot of it. Got some little, almost egg-like things inside that. I wonder if something laid some eggs in there. It's interesting. Where'd the rotifer go? Where'd you go, rotifer? It's easy to lose these guys sometimes. They get moving, and then you can't find them. Let's go back to lower power. There it is. Sneaky. So again, it's following the surface of this material, of this algae, acting a lot like the little euplodes. Although this one is more multicellular by about 1,000 cells. So it would be more understandable than have this behavior than a single cell. That's why euplodes are so cool, because they do some complex behavior for a single cell. Ah, where'd he go? Lost him. There we go. It's tricky moving delicately at higher power when you're following something. And he's going around there, so he's curving around that's on the back side of the algae, looking through the algae at it. Get this whole little 3D world. Up, down, left, right, in and out. That's pretty cool right there. Oh, a little green guy there, spinning around. One of those earlier. Give it some more light so you can see it better. It's like a little... Oh, there's another green guy next to it. So there's a pinwheel style. Oh no, maybe they're the same. They just spin. One spins and one doesn't. A diatom in the middle there. I lost my rotifer again. There it is. Ooh, there's something there next to it. I wonder if that's a dead one. That's a definite structure there sitting on there's a diatom moving along the surface. It's like a navicula almost, kind of a classic diatom. But there's something here that's on the edge. I don't know if that's part of the algae or... It's got some funny shapes, almost like a dead animal. Back to the rotifer. It's moving right along. That stupid hand in the way there. Again, very fun to watch these guys do their thing. So much activity. Certain kinds of rotifers will just like attach that foot structure to something open up their little mouth parts and pump away and suck things toward them, like a Vorticella does. Other ones move around like this guy does, more exploratory. And some do a mixture of the two. A lot of times they fly around like little ghosts. Very graceful when they swim around. Let me zoom out here just a tad. It's a little too close on the digital zoom there. Too much panning. Yep, good diatom. Get him. Get the diatom. Oh, gonna take another branch? No, he's gonna stay on the big one. See that Mastac's going to town there. Pump, pump, pump. A lot of up and down focusing. So much thickness in this algae. But thankfully these things are so transparent. You can look through so many layers. Oh, we're gonna change layers again? Nope. He didn't. Stayed down there. That was fun. Let's go out. Gotta find the gastrotrick. I like those guys a lot. More diatoms here and there. Alright. Little gastrotrick. Where'd you go? There's another little spinning guy with some really nice defined cilia. See if I can go a little closer there. Very nice. You can really see the cilia, very well defined. Lots of detail inside too. This would be great for a slow-mo pass with my other camera, so I can really study the organelles inside. There's all kinds of stuff in there. Vacuoles full of goodies. Little particles moving around. The camera, unfortunately, doesn't quite do it justice. I'm really seeing a lot in the eyepiece. This guy's fun though because it's actually spinning. It's creating a vortex by spinning with its cilia like that. Stuff is bouncing off of it, but it's not like a Vorticella. It's like a free swimming guy. Very different behavior. The diatom just cruising through like a little submarine. Run silent, run deep. There's the guy again. Very nice. No idea what that one is. I'll have to look it up. Alright, off for the gastrotrick again. I'm on a mission. I gotta find it. Could be anywhere. Could be anywhere. That's where I came down before. So assuming it's confined itself to an area of the slide, maybe over here somewhere. This is where I found it, I think, somewhere down here. I never see them take a break. The gastric just keeps moving, moving, moving. It's like it moves a little bit worm-like, but with more control. Reminds me more of a miniature version of the hunters in the Matrix. But instead of having all those tentacles, when they do that fast speed pursuit thing where they put the tentacles behind them and they kind of sway with the body, looks like one unit. That's what these guys look like. It's very kind of elegantly swimming through the water, very flexible, and kind of menacing looking and hairy. So gastric means hairy belly, hairy stomach, hairy belly. But they actually have hair all over the body. It's another multicellular critter, like the tardigrade and the rotifer, about 1,000 cells. Damn, where the hell did it go? Let's go to low power. They're big enough to find in low power. Okay, where'd you go? Let's go back to dark field real quick. Easy to find these guys potentially. Little green guys. Come on, Gastrotrick, where are you hiding? Could it be anywhere in this little forest area here? It's algae forest. Well, I did see one for sure. Just gonna get lucky and find it again. There's that rotifer still climbing on the debris there. Kind of in the middle of the frame, you can see it going down that one tube. Take one more look at that guy since he's here. He's moving down here. He's kind of inchworming along this. One going up at an angle. No, he's behind a couple layers. Can't see it very well. There it is. Way in the back. I think this might be one of those. It's a family of rotifers called Deloids. There's like a silent B in there in the name, but I'm not positive. Anyway, I've seen it again. I gotta find this gastritrick. It's bugging me not to be able to find this guy. Because they are very distinct, and I definitely saw it when I first got in here. Could be hiding anywhere. Could be outside the field, too. So I put too much water in the damn slide again. Don't see it out here, though. Not outside. Definitely not there. He didn't go up here at the dead end. Okay. Potentially simplifies it a little bit. I'll keep finding that rotifer over and over again. He's fun to watch. Damn it, should have stopped the gastritrick, cause it... Oh, look at that, there's that little spinning one again that was causing a vortex. That is cool. Very fast. It swims for a bit, stops, spins around a bunch. Oh, it is a okay, so it is a vorticella. It's off its stalk. Really cool. They're really fast when they're not attached. Let's go a little closer. Closer for some hot vorticella action. Beautiful. Yeah, I don't see them off the stalks very often, so at first I get thrown off. But they're creating such a suction with that motion. It's got to be a vorticella. So it's able to balance this rotating motion to stay stable without an actual attachment. See, the left side would normally have a little stalk that attaches it to a base of some kind, but it doesn't have a stalk. Either it lost it or it dropped it so it could move somewhere. And so, but it's able still to spin on the long axis and also beat its cilia and stay in place. It's not really moving very much. Pretty clever. I haven't seen them feed when they're off the stalk. You see they're bringing in stuff from a long way away though. Things keep running into them. I need to zoom out a tad. It's too close. Pretty crazy how they can do that though. See the stuff swirling around in front of it? It's way too big to be sucked in, so you keep getting these circular patterns of stuff. Hence the name vorticella. They create little vortices. It's really cool. And that's a lot of times how you can find them. You look for the debris going somewhere, and just follow it. And you go, oh, there it is. It's banging into the little guy on the little stalk. Or in this case, he's free swimming. Really cool. This figured out a motion where it normally, to create the suction, it would also propel it in that direction. But it must be using some other cilia to beat the opposite direction and keep it in place. Because it has no leverage. It's not attached to anything. Oh, there it just took off again. Man, those guys are fast. Yeah, it's cool to see them like that. Free swimming guys. Alright, let's go back to... There's the rotifer free swimming. It's off the plant now. Off to other adventures. So they can use those mouth parts to help propel them forward, like Vorticella does, but going in the direction going forward instead of pulling stuff to them. Very cool. Love rotifers. See if I can follow them at a little higher power. Might be tricky. Oh, another green guy. A green spinning guy. A segment of the algae there, broken off. Nice and boxy. Nice pennate diatom. Again, it could be a navicula or something similar. Very common shape, cigar style. And again, single cell plants instead of a glass shell swimming around. Sounds like science fiction, but there you see it right there. Very cool little critters. And they're not even really critters, they're plants. But I'm sure it baffled people in the early days studying this stuff. Like, what the hell is that's a plant? It moves with purpose, like an animal. Then you see Euglena and you get totally freaked out because it really is an animal with its own chlorophyll. So it can eat, it can also photosynthesize. Those things are a trip. That's cool. Stuff inside the thing there. Alright, still not finding my gastro trick. Come on. Gotta do this. Gotta find this guy. I guess there was only one this time. Should have taken a look when I had a chance. Pretty special little guys. If I can't find it one more pass, I'll just do one more sample, maybe get lucky, find another one. I usually find several, don't just find one. But there's always a chance that there weren't very many around this time. Damn, where the hell is it? Doesn't seem to be lost in this little forest. It would really stand out. There's a rotifer climbing up this stuff again. Right in the middle of the frame, you see it inching along. So funny. Well, There's that little zigzag. That was the Vorticella. Free swimming Vorticella going crazy. Man, those guys are fast. Where are you, Gastro Trick? Weird. They're so big, they're usually easy to find. I already checked outside on the margins for all the extra water I put on the slide. I'm just not seeing it. Well, I hate to give up, but let's see if I get lucky. Let's do one more of these slides. Same stuff. Let's see if I just get lucky. It'd be nice to get some more footage. Gastro Trick. But that's why I always get a sample there out of that part of the pond filtration system, because at least 50% of the time I've got samples from there and find Gastro Tricks in there. It's pretty good odds. Alright, let's try and get some more out of this. Sample ahead in the tray. Might be just what I need. I'm going to fish some more out of the vial. Alright, new collection. This time I didn't bring the forest with me, I just got some water out of the petri dish. But it's the same water sample. Got in some little ciliates in there. This big chunk of stuff. It has eluded me again. Alright. One more slide. Definitely getting tired. Don't think I slept as well last night as I thought I did. Just normally I would not be this tired this early, even though it's late for me. It's not that late. Okay, so let's get some more water out of this guy. That water's got some nice color to it. Means there's a lot of goodies in it. No algae this time, just the water. So if we got anything extra. Okay, more ciliates. I got water on top of the slide again. Just not my night. I had that one slide with one and I couldn't find it anymore. And I couldn't even find it dead. So I don't know what it was hiding behind or underneath. Very weird. Oh well, a lot of the same stuff. So I'm gonna call it there. Thanks for hanging out. Those that had a chance to come by the live stream. Thanks for anyone else who is watching on a replay of some kind, and plenty more to come. I'm going to. One thing that occurred to me I needed to do, and I totally forgot. I was having so much fun with the water samples and doing a live stream at the zoo. Is I wanted to get some animal fur samples and some different kinds of feathers and stuff like that, just around the zoo. Some stuff I may not have put under the microscope before, or just haven't for a long time. I think that'd be a fun thing to do. Some more macro to the micro, not just tiny single-celled stuff, but looking at different kinds of animal hair and like snake skin, things like that, from the animal shedding at the zoo. So maybe some insect stuff. Have to see what's available, what I can grab for next time. But yeah, found some good stuff today. So I had fun. I hope you did too. And thanks again to JX3D for the music. Always makes a nice vibe to the stream. And it's more music that I don't have to try to make. This kind of ambient style that I don't really make. I enjoy it for sure, but I don't make too much of it. So it's nice to have his permission to use it on the streams. And that's about all I can think of for now, because I'm tired. So thanks again, everybody. And keep your eyes open for some more fun stuff coming up. And if you're out and about, don't just look up and look around, look down. Look at the little things in life and have some fun. Maybe get a magnifying glass and start checking some stuff out. You don't need a microscope to do this stuff. Get a little hand lens, like a 10x or 15x hand lens, looking at flowers and insects and stuff, and you can go from there. You can get pocket microscopes that go to like 150 power for looking at pond water, things like that. Check into it. It's a lot of fun. So thanks again, everybody, and I will see you soon.